folks, it's time for another Let's Chat, which is basically a video where I pick a topic and run with it without really planning what I'm going to say beforehand. And this week I wanted to talk about grey asexuality, and specifically why I choose not to define grey asexuality. You may have noticed that in my old YouTube videos I define grey asexual as experiencing sexual attraction so rarely it's easier to call yourself part of the asexual spectrum, or that you prefer to call yourself part of the asexual spectrum. However, in the video I made a couple of weeks ago, I chose actively to not define grey asexual, and said that what grey asexual is differs from person to person. If I'm being honest, the reason I chose to do that is that I wanted that video to be quick and concise, and grey asexuality isn't really an orientation with a quick and concise definition. So it was easier to just say people define it their own way and leave it at that. But then I got thinking and I realised that that's actually the best way to talk about grey asexuality. And if I am stepping on like any toes here, please say I am not grey asexual. At least I don't choose that label, I choose to call myself asexual, although arguably I do experience asexuality in such a way that other people might choose to use the label grey asexual. Because people can use the word grey asexual to describe a whole mad variety of experiences. You can be grey asexual if you are someone who's only experienced sexual attraction once or twice in your life. You could be grey asexual if you do experience sexual attraction, but the feeling is so muted you have no desire to act on it. You could call yourself grey asexual if you just don't quite understand what sexual attraction is and you don't know if you experience it or not. Grey asexual can mean that you don't experience sexual attraction, but you do have a high sex drive, or you do commonly like to have sex. If you imagine sexual attraction as a spectrum, where, say, asexual is right at the edge of this screen here, and allosexual is right up, off camera, off screen against my bedroom wall, then some people would say you should only call yourself asexual if you fit right here at the edge of the screen, where if you fit like here, say, you are grey asexual. But to be honest, you could be here and still call yourself asexual, or here and still call yourself asexual, or you could be here and call yourself grey ace, or here and call yourself grey ace. It all kind of depends on what you consider as like the be-all end-all, like what you consider as enough of a difference from the very stereotypical idea of complete disinterest in sex or repulsion from sex as part of being asexual or not. Because although to me, asexuality is not in any way about sexual action, and I think that that should be a universal accepted belief, at the same time I know that some asexual people who are sexually active feel like less asexual as a result. They might still choose to call themselves asexual, or they might change their label to grey asexual even if they don't experience sexual attraction, and I think that's fine. I kind of feel like having an identity that doesn't have a clear definition can be quite useful. I know that a lot of people like labels to be very cut and dry, but labels exist to help the person who chooses to use them. And for a label like grey ace, where the definition of what it is can be a little bit wonky, I think that means it's a label that a lot more people can flock to and is a lot more, I don't know, useful, frankly. Particularly for someone who's exploring their identity. And I'm not saying that in such a way that I believe grey asexual is like a transitionary label. Like you choose grey asexual because eventually you'll figure out if you're demisexual or asexual or something. I'm not saying that at all. I think grey asexual is an identifier in itself, but I do think it has use as like a transitionary label as well, and I think it's good that it has no firm definition. Again, I am a little bit stepping out of my lane here, because I do choose to just use the label asexual, and if people want to go in the comments and say stay out your lane, grey ace has a very, very firm definition, we like that firm definition and you can shut up, then okay, sure, great. I shouldn't have made this video, I'm wrong. But I don't think I am wrong. I feel like even in the comments of my videos, when grey asexuality has come up, people have defined it differently. I've seen it defined differently on Tumblr, as if the way they've defined it is the only definition. And more than that, I've heard people say they use the identifier grey asexual and then go on to explain a whole wide range of experiences with sexuality. I just don't think it's that cut and dry. So that's where I sit on this. What do you think? I'm really interested to hear grey asexual people's experiences specifically, but I'm also interested in people who choose to use the label ace when they could possibly use the label grey asexual. As is always the case when I do Let's Chats, my thoughts on this are a little all over the place. So I would be really grateful for people to share their experiences, and I hope this video makes some sense. But that's all. Bye!